Dear students, greetings for the day. Today we will study about designing industrial kitchen layout. Refrigerator. A refrigerator is a cooling appliance comprising of a thermally insulated compartment and a heat pump. Cooling is a popular food storage technique in developed countries and works by decreasing the reproduction rate of bacteria. A device described as a refrigerator maintains a temperature a few degrees above the freezing point of water. A similar device which maintains a temperature below the freezing point of water is called freezer. Refrigerator. A refrigerator is a cooling appliance comprising of a thermally insulated compartment and a heat pump. Cooling is a popular food storage technique in developed countries and works by decreasing the reproduction rate of bacteria. A device described as a refrigerator maintains a temperature a few degrees above the freezing point of water. A similar device which maintains a temperature below the freezing point of water is called freezer. Freezer. Freezer units are used in households and in industry and commerce. Most freezers operate around 0 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius. Domestic freezers can be included as a separate compartment in a refrigerator or can be a separate appliance. Domestic freezers are generally upright units resembling refrigerators, or chests resembling upright units laid on their backs. Processing equipment. Food mixers. Food mixers are available in different sizes and capacities. Various attachments are available to perform slicing, grating, grinding, preparing the dough, cake batters, whipping cream, meringues, and mayonnaise. Refrigerator. A refrigerator is a cooling appliance comprising of a thermally insulated compartment and a heat pump. Cooling is a popular food storage technique in developed countries and works by decreasing the reproduction rate of bacteria. A device described as a refrigerator maintains a temperature a few degrees above the freezing point of water. A similar device which maintains a temperature below the freezing point of water is called freezer. Food cutters. One type of food cutter known as the buffalo chopper consists of a rotating bowl that moves food into the path of a spinning blade. As the food passes repeatedly through the blades, it is chopped into smaller pieces. The longer the machine is allowed to run, the smaller the particles become. It is easy to clean and contains no cracks or crevices that could harbor bacteria. Attachments are available for cutting, slicing, grating, shredding, and similar operations. Another cutter chops, dices, makes strips, etc. The unit should be used when there is a large quantity of work to be done since cleanup and reassembly requires time. The vertical cutter and mixer, known as the VCM, chop cuts, mixes, blends, emulsifies, purees food in a matter of seconds. Refrigerator. A refrigerator is a cooling appliance comprising of a thermally insulated compartment and a heat pump. Cooling is a popular food storage technique in developed countries and works by decreasing the reproduction rate of bacteria. A device described as a refrigerator maintains a temperature a few degrees above the freezing point of water. A similar device which maintains a temperature below the freezing point of water is called freezer. Vegetable peeler. This equipment is useful when a large number of hard-root vegetables such as turnips, potatoes, carrots are peeled rapidly by an abrasive, lightweight disc that spins around, removing the skin. Water flowing into the chamber removes the waste as it accumulates. Meat processing equipment includes meat saws, choppers, grinders, mincers. Miscellaneous equipments include can openers, knife, whisk, saucepans, etc. Food slicer. The slicer is basically a circular knife on which items such as cheese, boneless meats, vegetables, bread can be sliced. A uniform clean straight slice of almost any reasonably firm product is possible with this piece of equipment. The item to be sliced glides back and forth on a carriage feeding into the knife. By adjusting the distance between the plate on which the product rests and the knife itself, the operator can adjust the thickness of the slice as desired. Slicers are available in different sizes depending on the size of the knife. One should avoid cross-contamination in the use of the slicer. Proper cleaning of the slicer between uses must always be done, as also thorough cleaning at the end of all tasks. This is also called the gravity slicer. Refrigerator. A refrigerator is a cooling appliance comprising of a thermally insulated compartment and a heat pump. Cooling is a popular food storage technique in developed countries and works by decreasing the reproduction rate of bacteria. A device described as a refrigerator maintains a temperature a few degrees above the freezing point of water. A similar device which maintains a temperature below the freezing point of water is called freezer. There was a time when our chefs had to worry about was cooking good food and meeting the gross profit target on top of kitchen costs. Chefs must also be aware of the current legislation concerning waste management in his kitchen. In the UK, the most important food hygiene regulations for your business are the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act, 1954, the Fruit Products Order, 1955, the Meat Food Products Order, 1973, the Vegetable Oil Products Control Order, 1947, the Edible Oils Packaging Regulation Order, 1998, the Solvent Extracted Oil, the Oil Meal, and Edible Flour Control Order, 1967, the Milk and Milk Products Order, 1992, Essential Commodities Act, 1955, in relation to food. Overhead is a fixed cost. Your rent payment usually is the same regardless of the level of your sales. Labor costs are semi-variable costs. As was explained earlier, some labor costs are constant and must be paid even if sales do not meet expectations, while other labor costs are the result of increases in sales. Since labor costs are not truly fixed, the variable part of the cost of labor can be manipulated in times of poor sales by cutting back on paid hours, introducing shift changes, and even laying off personnel. Personnel working in the food industry often learn how flexible their hours can become in times of poor sales. Hoped for profit can be treated as a fixed cost. Often, profit is considered to be that which is left over after all costs have been paid. However, more and more businesses try to treat profit as an expense that should be met. With the exception of some labor costs, only the cost of food is truly a variable cost in the cost-profit equation, because the amount of food purchased is directly influenced by the amount of food sold by the establishment. By determining overhead, labor, and profit costs, you can calculate optimum food costs by subtracting all the other costs from projected total sales. This relationship can be seen by manipulating the sales equation presented above: sales equals labor plus food costs plus overhead plus profit, into food costs equals sales, labor plus overhead plus profit. Costs include the following: food costs, sometimes called product costs; controllable expenses, such as labor, advertising, janitorial service, promotion, utilities, maintenance; uncontrollable costs, such as rent or lease payments, license fees and property taxes, sometimes referred to as occupancy costs; depreciation, which is uncontrollable but not an occupancy cost;